Is how beautiful is this Urban Decay Heavy Metals palette? So Mona was I think you were the first person in the world to get this. She got this over the summer. Wendy, beautiful Wendy, actually gave it to her. But can you guys just look at these colors? Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at that purple. Look at that pink. Look at the blue, the teal. Such a pretty palette. I don't know when this is launching, but this is definitely a must-have. This is the packaging, and it slides out and goes back in. Really, really cute. Okay guys, so we have beautiful Rose today, and we're just gonna do a quick demo on her skin. So I'm priming her skin really quickly with our Complexion Perfection, and she's got really beautiful, even skin. She has very little texture here. She really has flawless skin, but she has a little bit of redness, which is gonna be really easy to kind of fix with our foundation. And she's got such pretty skin. And Rose actually grew up in Tennessee, like me, in Clarksville, right?
Yeah.
I grew up in Cookeville.
That's
How
so nice.
funny. And so I'm just applying a little primer here too. And you can apply the primer with a brush. So we basically want to make the whole process foolproof. So this primer with the brush, like literally my daughter could do it. Anybody could apply this foundation and get perfect application this way. So I'm just doing a little bit more dabbing. Her skin turned a little bit red just because of the timing, but it's totally normal. We're gonna go ahead and grab the shade Vanilla, which is her exact shade. And we're gonna go ahead and apply this. This is full coverage, and it's gonna dry to a powder finish. I'm just gonna put out one squirt. It's a lot lighter than my skin tone, so you see it looks like a little bit more vibrant on me, but it's totally fine. I actually have a little bit deeper skin tone than people think. I actually usually wear like the darkest in most shades. So I'm just gonna go ahead, and I have our foundation brush right here, and I'm just basically, you know, evening everything out because I don't want too much in one area. And then I'm just gonna go ahead, and I like to stipple. So, and we have a lot of pigmentation, so you'll notice when you first put it on, it's a lot of color. So you really want to spread that out because you want to make sure it's the right color. Some foundations have less color, so it's a little bit easier when you apply, but you can see this has a lot of pigment. And if I have her churn her face slightly, you can see it matches her neck almost perfectly. And that's really where you want to go because we have different pigments in our face. We have red, we have, you know, sometimes brighter skin tone on our face because we've done some peeling, some scrubbing. You want to match your neck. That's really, really important. And you can see this gives flawless application. It's so easy. Just like little stippling here. And if you want to use your fingers, you can. You'll get a little bit more extra coverage, but it's really not necessary. And you're gonna notice by the time I finish this part of her face, this side would have set to a complete powdery satin finish. So it looks a little bit shiny right now. Do you have oily skin?
Yeah, a bit.
Okay, so you're gonna stay like your age forever. We're really sensitive to skin types when we created this foundation because I've just had the most complicated skin issues, and that's why we also use a skincare company to make the foundation. Yeah, and she's got such beautiful porcelain skin, like just beautiful. And you can see this foundation has really brightened up her skin. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna add another foundation, and I am just gonna go ahead and contour with that. So I'm just using a little bit, tiny bit more foundation here, just in areas around her mouth. And you can use your fingers also for extra areas. It will completely set. And this is 120, so there are some shades that are a little bit lighter as well. 3 shades lighter. This is the 3rd shade, sorry. Okay. I'm just gonna apply a little bit more here. You're so beautiful, Rose.
Thank you.
You're so beautiful.
You're so sweet.
You can see now if I have Rose move her face that way, you can see the finish here, and it looks so beautiful. And I can do a little spot application in certain areas if I need to, and it will work like a concealer, corrector. Sorry, I scared you. Sometimes people get scared with a brush, but it's really important. You see, when we first put the pigment on her skin, and I can do a little bit here too, it looked really, really bright. It didn't look like it matched her neck. There's so much pigment in this foundation, so you really do want to completely blend it out because otherwise you're going to have so much pigment. A lot of people who saw our swatches, they were like, the swatches don't match the skin. That's normal because there's so much pigment in these foundations, so you really do want to blend them out. And now you can see her skin looks like skin. It looks flawless. Blends with her neck, looks beautiful, has a matte but kind of sheen finish to it. So you really want to make sure you blend it out. When I first put it on her, it was way too bright, didn't blend in. And now when I blend it in, she looks healthy, she looks beautiful, she looks perfect. I mean, we don't even need to contour. She's perfect before the foundation, but you don't need a foundation, but it does take you that next step. I'm just gonna put a little.
I really can't believe there are lighter shades.
So Rose was just saying.
I really struggle finding my own shade, and if I do, it like oxidizes or it turns orange, or it's so sheer, and it's just like. And
you need coverage. You want coverage.
I do.
Yeah. You don't want to use a concealer. Do you have to use concealer sometimes?
All the time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I use a concealer almost every day.
That makes sense. Well, so. I don't want to say too much, but this foundation is a really good answer. You can look at her skin. Her skin looks so beautiful. So, we can add, I covered her lip a little bit, so we can add some lip liner there. We can add a little bronzer. You can do so many things, but now her skin looks really, 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 it just looks good. Looks really, really good. And it looks like skin. That's the most important thing. You don't want to look like you're wearing foundation. That's like the worst thing. And if she has oily skin, so we could put a little bit of powder and dust it all over. We could definitely, I always like to bake under the eyes no matter what your skin type. But if she had dry skin, we wouldn't need to put any powder at all. Right now it has a little bit of powdery finish, but if she has oily skin throughout the day, it's going to get a little bit oily, so you'll want to put a powder. And it's going to look stunning. So this shade is called Milkshake, and this is the lightest shade we have. I'm just going to apply this underneath her eyes. We're going to do a little bit of some makeup application, like just a little tiny bit. It's quite bright. Just going to grab any concealer brush. I really like this one. This is from MAC 287. And I'm just going to have you look up, darling. And I'm just applying it as a concealer. And since she has oily skin, we're definitely going to need to apply a little bit of powder on top. Just blending that out. The beauty editors, so many different beauty editors, so many different skin tones. And I did their full face, foundation, concealer, and contour with our foundation. Much darker, it's called Latte, it's 300N. I'm just using a little bit, just to add a little bit of contour, and it's not that much darker. It's just going to be a small amount of contour to her face. So I'm just going to go in her cheekbones here, and you can see it's really light. Just a nice small amount of contour. Just gonna rip the brush off, too much product. I think I put some in your hair. I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna put your hair behind your ears. Okay, perfect, thank you. And I'm just adding a little bit of contour. There we go, with the foundation. I just love. There we go. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put some along her forehead too. And then we'll blend it out a little bit more. Look how beautiful that looks. Look at that. Let me have you turn your face that way, darling. And we have a really nice natural looking contour. And you can blend it out however you need to. I'm gonna have you look straight, darling. And this is all only foundation. We use all foundation to do the contour. And I actually love to use the foundation to do the highlighting and the contour, just because it's so pretty. And I would definitely use a setting powder. We could use it all over. I like the Laura Mercier translucent powder just because it's really nice for all skin tones. Especially I feel like fair to medium skin tones, it works really well. I actually feel like it works almost for all skin tones. And they have a deeper one too for darker skin tones. So we can put a little bit of powder on top because she has oily skin, and then show how she looks in a little bit. So let me just go ahead and get the powder. Go ahead and apply it to her face. And I'm using a little bit more of a dense brush. I love Morphe brushes, they're so awesome. And I'm just gonna start by brushing underneath her eyes here. And I'm doing the same thing I did with the foundation, so I'm kind of tapping it into the skin. I'm just gonna put barely any powder here. And you're gonna see I'm avoiding these areas here because I want to keep it really nice and dewy. So I'm just putting in her T-zone. And if she needs to go all day, we could put it all over, but it's totally not necessary. Powder. So this is it. Super simple, easy, beautiful, natural glam on every skin tone.